Welcome back to Forever and Always. We're still chatting to Siyanda Dzenga. Sia, so we were chatting a lot more about marriage and, you know, where you are currently right now. I know personally for me, before I got married, there were certain misconceptions. You know, when you grew up in an African home, there are things like, if you don't know how to clean, you know. What are those misconceptions that you've heard or that you've had to actually encounter before you got married, and I think growing up?
I think growing up, well, especially in African households, as girls, we are raised to aspire to marriage. Everything that you're being taught revolves around this grand destination that if you do this thing this way, you will be eligible for this thing. And in modern society, it doesn't always work that way. So like you mentioned, the cleaning, the cooking, I love cooking. I love cooking. My husband is better. It's ridiculous. He is better. He's so OCD. He will clean after the lady cleaned. You have to find another way of making a contribution around the household. He doesn't cook every day. He cooks the grand meal where people are coming over. Then you become the sous chef, I guess. But the misconception was that you have to labor. You have to be a ride or die, and there's nothing wrong with being a ride or die, trust me. In the good context of it, there's no begezeling until this person starts behaving well, because from the courtship you can see that this person handles my heart quite well, right? Yes, you begazela in the sense that it's another human being. They're gonna hurt you, you're gonna hurt them. Both have flaws, but that's fine. For me, the misconception was that I grew up thinking marriage is so hard and you have to work so hard to be worthy of it. Wow. Because there's a glorification of pain and just accepting bad behavior until you are worthy of this crown of becoming the missus, which it's part of what I had to unlearn when I took time out and just not dated and just kind of try to figure out that, no man, I don't think this is what God wants for me. He will give me somebody who wants to be happy with me, and that's it, and that's what I got, you know. It has its ups and downs, it has its letdowns, but it's never, I've never felt like maybe this is not for me, maybe this is a lot. It was just human errors, you know. And it's also very important how your makeup, you are able to express how a certain thing made you feel, and the person acknowledges it, and the best form of apology is not doing the thing again. So if you feel, which I feel like I have that kind of partner, then it made the whole ride or die idea a myth. Yes, there's a loyalty required. Yes, there's a faithfulness, there's a devotion that marriage requires, but it doesn't come at you disappearing or you not recognizing who you are and feeling worthless until a man deems you worthy of being a bride. That for me was the biggest thing.
Yeah, that is so important, because I recently shared, or quite a while ago, I recently shared something on Twitter, now sharing my story. But most importantly, one thing that came out a lot was that, you know, as women, we want to be idolized. And my greatest discovery in that phase of finding out that the reason why there's that innate need for us to be idolized is the fact that we are raised to become the price. Yes. You are raised to become the idol, so it's, if you can tick all the boxes, you deserve this. And if you've been raised ticking up the boxes and we get to a point where you're not getting what you deserve,
you become disgruntled.
Because then you're like, I'm the price.
Yeah, why is nobody worshipping and adoring me? But I also grew up like that. Like I grew up thinking you have to take care of yourself. You're beautiful. You have to be able to do A, B, C, and D, and then this is gonna happen to you. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with being able to take care of a home and to nurture. It's my favorite thing in the world. But I really feel like I'm doing it with someone I am happy for them to lead me, because there are so many great aspects about them. There's a lot I learned from him, and they just handle things with a great carefulness and delicacy that I can truly, truly appreciate. So I do feel idolized.
Which is good.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like I really do feel idolized, but I just needed to unlearn the fact that you must expect great pain that is deliberate from another person because he's a man. Men do that, do those kinds of things. It's like, no, it's a whole human being who's also trying to progress, who's trying to develop himself, who's trying to grow and become a better man. So
yeah, so talking about that, you're a very gorgeous woman. Absolutely gorgeous. And I know you don't only hear it from me, but there's like thousands and hundreds of people that are constantly telling you how gorgeous you are, you know. And I just want to find out from you where does one draw the line in terms of the buzz that's coming from the media versus the reality? Because, you know, there's quite a lot of people want to be influencers, and everybody's posting pictures to hear what people are saying. And I, right now in studio, I'm sitting with a very beautiful woman who's grounded enough to say, I had to look at myself, you know, and going back to a conversation about sometimes us feeling like, because I'm pretty, because I'm gorgeous, it ends here. And whenever you have a fight, you're thinking, do you know that I have hundreds of followers who would want to, you know, receive a text from me anytime? How do you navigate through that?
No, that's not a factor. Like, first of all, like being popular on social media is really nice. It's nice that you are able to share the things that you're passionate about and you find like-minded people. It's great, but those people are not your friends. They can literally turn on you like this. But I mean, apart from that, apart from just making it sound like a negative thing, I've never been one to place my worth in another person's hand. So I'm the kind of person who literally wake up, play some feel-good music and decide on my outfit. Like I have to approve myself that, yay, I'm killing it. And then that never, like I never, it's not that it's not real. I don't like it when people say social media is not real. It is real. I met you on Twitter, right? So it is real. There are human beings behind that you interact with, but the most real thing is what you have at home with the people that you care for, with the people that you love. It's great that other people appreciate what you look like, what you wear, where you go, all the things that you share, but that's not where it's at.
It's not really, it's not truly the entity of you.
No, it's not. They literally get like 5% of the person that I am, and it's a grand idea. Like you don't post when you've had a really bad day. You don't. Nobody knows that part. And I recently went to a school, just talking to little girls, to primary school girls, about perceptions in social media, and just saying to them that it's filtered, it's edited, it's photoshopped. You can't try to look like somebody who doesn't even look like themselves. It's an impossible thing to chase. And it's so important for them to understand that, and for them to understand that we don't always look like that, and also we don't always have it together. We just post that small part where you have like a really good day. It's not to say that your days are horrible or bad or whatever, but most of the time you're doing other things. You're working, you are chasing your dreams, your goals, you're trying, but you don't share most of it. And they're so impressionable because they're so young. They think that because you're pretty, you just have things just happening for you. But there is nothing more beautiful than kindness. Nothing. There is nothing more beautiful than empathy. Thinking about the next person. Being smart is beautiful. and it's something that will uphold you, and it's something that will keep people's attention on you because you are intelligent, you are interesting. There's going to be another pretty person, prettier, younger, slimmer than you, or whatever, more fabulous, always. So it's fleeting. You can't place your worth or your value in terms of other people's perception of you. That's really not sustainable.
Wow, that's beautiful. So now that you're married, has there been any change in family or friendship dynamics in your life?
There's been some friendships that kind of dissolved, and I just think it's because you enter into a different space. I've always had like a very small circle of friends, so it hasn't been something that is like a grand thing that happens where I now lose so many friends. It's just maybe one or two people that you're just not on the same path anymore, or the season for that friendship has just come to an end. But it has never been like a grand betrayal or something that, like, it's people that you'll see and you'll still sit next to, chat and laugh with, but it's just that you are in different parts now. You know, you prioritize different things, so you just kind of have to let go of each other. Yeah. All
right, that makes sense. Now, I want to talk about your baby.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Miss to Mrs. I've been seeing it quite a lot. It's been amazing events. Just tell me, what inspired you to start it, first of all?
Okay, so Miss to Mrs. It's a bridal event that we saw that a lot of people don't understand the marriage aspects of getting married. They understand the wedding. They're very excited about the wedding, but they don't understand what it entails. There are certain things, I mean, even from contractual point of view, people don't know the different options that they have when they're getting into marriage. And it's been such a touchy subject because when you are talking to people, they think you are anticipating divorce, but that's not it. Like, sometimes you'll find that Michelle is an entrepreneur, but the husband does have a 9-to-5, and then you guys get married in community. One day you sign the wrong document, you take the biggest risk, you bring him down with you. You know what I mean? In terms of assets, if the lawyers have to come and repossess stuff, they take his stuff, you know. And for us modern women that are working, those are conversations that need to happen. There needs to be somebody who's able to say, this is what you need to do. So that's where it came from. That was the big idea for me. So Dumi founded it because Dumi is a bridal stylist. So she just loves weddings so much. She wants to be part of a woman's journey into her big day. So I just said to her, let's talk about money. Let's gather women that are getting married. So Miss to Mrs., the event itself is twofold. So we have the conversations from people that have been married for like 20 years, 30 years. We had former Mrs. South Africa come to our previous event, just talking about her learnings, her journey into marriage for the past 18 years. And then we'll have like a financial advisor to say, even though you're planning a wedding, the biggest deal is the marriage. Don't enter into debt, like those kinds of advices that, you know, because you're so excited, you're getting this thing that you've been wanting for so long, you sometimes overlook the practical parts of it. But like girls or women bring their friends, so it's not just the girls that are getting married, they bring their bridal parties, sometimes they bring their moms. And then the second part of it is that we celebrate. We literally will have like a karaoke session, we have a big lunch for everyone, we play games because other people treat it as their bridal shower. So we'll literally play those games that you play in a bridal shower, do prize giveaways. Most people want to do it twice. Like when they attend Miss to Mrs., like, no, go get married. I want other people to come. So it's something that obviously I'm very proud of. But my biggest takeaway from it, I've never anticipated how it makes people feel. I've never anticipated that people or women come to me and say, I feel so empowered now. I can make a far more informed decision, because people come with different scenarios. But there's a lot to consider. But because you literally think, I don't know a single thing, I don't even know where to start. So we provide a platform where people can ask questions to lawyers, marriage counselors, and financial advisors. So if, say for instance, you've always wanted to get married, you wanted to get married in 2019, somebody will tell you, maybe not, maybe just push it out a little bit, and increments of it, save in this way, like just something for you to feel like you're more in control of what you're doing. It's not taking you over because your eyes are fixed on this perfect day and you think that's where it ends. So you'll find like a lot of the women that come, they will say, I never knew that if lobola has been paid, it means I am married. And now you fall into community of property by virtue of, like, they don't know those things. They think that being married is the day and when you've signed, but under customary law, you are married. So should anything happen, you need to operate as a married woman because your lobola has been paid, your families have met, you've been celebrated. And should, God forbid, anything happen, you are the wife. Like, how do you prepare? Like, how do you behave in different kinds of scenarios? So yeah, so that's what the event is about. But we try to have like as much fun so that it's not too intense and daunting, and just take away the intimidation out of it, you know. And giving people a platform, women a platform to ask questions, because sometimes you feel like, am I ignorant? Like, am I in it alone? Like, how does my scenario work if we're both entrepreneurs? Like, how do I draft a will? Sure. You know, can I add my sister to my will? People don't want to ask those things because it sounds silly. Yeah. Maybe I should know, but I don't. Yeah. But now it's like we normalize those kinds of conversations, that maybe you promised your mom that you'd pay for your little sister's varsity. But now that's a conversation you also need to have with your husband, and you need to make provision for it because it's a family thing. You've promised this side, now you're building your own family and you just don't know how to bring it up. You know, you feel like you're taking away from what you're building, but it's like, it's a noble thing that you're trying to do. You shouldn't feel ashamed and you shouldn't feel burdened or be hiding it. Yeah. And if should anything happen, just put it in a will. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to say to the lawyer. So yeah, so it came from that perspective that there's a need for a place, a safe space for women to be able to ask certain questions before they embark on their journey.
Love the movement, absolutely, because I think, you know, in the generation that I think also our mothers don't necessarily give us enough information based on the fact that maybe they did things differently and now you're a 21st century woman and you're doing it entirely different.
Entirely different. Yeah. And sometimes they don't know, like, they also didn't get people sitting them down saying, so this is how this thing will unfold, this is how you do it. So they obviously can't give you something they don't have. And they've never lived in their 20s in 2019. Right. You know what I mean? So they don't know how it's like or what it's like. So you kind of need a place where there's like-mindedness and you are free to just ask certain things. And usually people end up setting up consultations for themselves and their partners to kind of present these different scenarios, because you'll find that sometimes somebody doesn't even want to live here. They want to move, but they're not sure how to do it. What do they do with the assets? Like those kinds of conversations that people are just not sure about. So that's what we must do.
There are other common questions, and I think for the purpose of the show, that you normally get that could be entirely helpful to somebody that is watching.
So people, women are always worried about compromising, because marriage is like you have to compromise. So you'll find that the women that are there that have been married forever, they can give you different scenarios of what that means, because people are scared of it. They just like, what does it mean that how do I bring up the fact that I only want to have 2 kids? I keep hearing him joking about 5. Wow. But so someone will say like, no, I walked into marriage wanting to only have 2. He wanted 5, now we have 3, and everybody's happy, like that sort of thing. And what you need to look for when you're building a family, how you start the conversation, and what are the expectations. I remember one lady said her husband literally did not want to have a 3rd child, and then she fell pregnant, and it was twins.
Oh my gosh.
So wow. It was quite something. Like, he went into depression mode for a while, thinking how is he going to provide, because he didn't have that thing in mind, and how they got through that phase. Because now they have 4 kids, and they've had to take the other 2 out of the private school and put everybody in a public school, so that they can make it work. So those are also the kinds of conversations, because sometimes life happens like that. Sometimes life happens, and you just kind of have to roll with the punch.
What has all these events and the organization itself done for you? Because I can imagine you're sitting around multiple women who are sharing different scenarios, and you're also a newlywed.
Yeah. So I've learned quite a bit from other people's journeys. I think the biggest thing that I can think of right now, one lady said that you should never forget yourself. She felt like after about 11 years of marriage, she could tell you her husband's favorite color, her kid's favorite cereal, the other son's favorite sport. But if you ask her, she was not sure, because she had devoted herself so much to making sure they're okay. But now she started feeling like she is pouring from an empty cup. And that's also like a conversation that needs to be had, that I really feel empty. I need a refill. I need to just take care of myself for a bit. However that looks like, whether you find a new hobby now, to say maybe I want to take up tennis, just so I can feel like I'm doing something for myself that doesn't benefit any of you, because you get to a point where you are just all about your family. Like, I'm not going to do this because then it affects, I can't pick up my son from whatever. I have to be there for this person. I have to do this for my husband. So I thought that was quite interesting, because she was saying that you do get into auto mode of just taking care of people, because it's within our nature to nurture, and you will, if you don't fill yourself up, even in just making time to meet with your friends that are married, then you can just talk about the different dynamics. People think there's this perception of Wonder Woman, who just does everything. We've got everything together, but we really need one another. Sometimes you just need to just pause on a Saturday morning and just go sit with your friends and laugh about maybe your families, and just like kind of refill yourself and do things that you like.
Sia, quickly, the biggest advice you can ever give any woman that's watching?
Sure.
Top of your head.
You can't give love if you don't have it. You need to look after yourself. That's, for me, that's the biggest thing. I have a routine. I sit and I meditate, and obviously I meditate longer and read my Bible and pray harder when things are just a bit difficult. But that's how I fill up. That's so important. As much as you are married now, you have a partner who's willing to carry you through things and see you through challenges, you also have a responsibility. You have to remember, how did I overcome when I was just by myself? If it was through reading the Bible, you need to really press in on that. If it was through praying, joining cell groups, and taking walks, or waking up at midnight and praying, just so you can feel like you're also devoting something that is real to you, that fuels you, that keeps you going. I think that's how you are able to also be generous with who you are, because you're not worried that you're gonna run out, you are overflowing.
Oh, sure. So yeah, thank you for that. I literally do not want this interview to end, you know, yeah, because there's just so much wisdom and there's so much you're really sharing. But thank you so much for joining us for this chat. It was fruitful for me, and I really believe that it was fruitful for everyone else that is watching. So we definitely will be seeing you again, and at Miss to Mrs. Yes. Cool. Thank you so much for watching. You can engage with Siyanda Dzenga on all her social media platforms on the screen, and you can also still engage with us on all of our social media platforms that are on the screen, and don't forget to use the hashtag forever and always Africa. Have yourself a good one. We'll see you next time.